My dear viewers, hello and welcome to a new episode of our program Cairo Local Time, during which we're going to bring you the latest political, economic, social, also sports and cultural events that are taking place in Egypt. With you today, Amal Mukhtar. I have the pleasure to be with you until 5 p.m. This is a short break and I'm going to be back with you. Welcome back. We start this episode of Cairo Local Time with our local news bulletin. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Sunday met Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Supply Ali Musalhi, and Major General of the Armed Forces National Service Projects Walid Abu al-Magd. President was updated on the government's efforts for providing the strategic food commodities for citizens nationwide and maintaining the state's strategic reserve of food commodities with the aim of ensuring the stability of food security through meeting the citizens' needs. The president also followed up the developments of the current wheat cultivation season, where he directed determining the price of the wheat supplies in order to achieve affordable economic yield for farmers and support increasing the amounts of supplied wheat. The head of state also reviewed the path of the work at the nitrogen fertilizers complex in Al Ain Al Sokhna, the school feeding project, and the plasma collection complex project. Welcome back. Well, the Ministry of Finance said that the new $3 billion US dollars loan to Egypt approved by the International Monetary Fund will be used to support country's program to boost economic growth and investments and enhance its social protection network. The new agreement regarding the loan gives a positive signal of the local and foreign markets and a powerful boost to investments, exports, and international trade movement with Egypt. The details in the following report.
The new $3 billion loan to Egypt approved by the International Monetary Fund will be used to support the country's program to boost economic growth and investments and enhance its social protection network. The new agreement regarding the loan, which Egypt reached with the IMF late in October without additional conditions or burdens, gives a positive signal to the local and foreign markets and a powerful boost to investments, exports, and international trade movement with Egypt. The government will work on maintaining efforts for fiscal discipline by continuing to achieve an annual primary surplus in the general budget and ensuring a downward public debt trajectory so that it declines to less than 80% of the gross domestic product. The IMF's approval of the new loan comes after months of negotiations between the two sides after Egypt had requested the loan in March under a fresh economic reform program to address the harsh impacts of Ukraine war on Egyptian economy. Since the spark of the conflict, the Central Bank of Egypt has hiked the interest rates by a total of 5% and has devaluated the Egyptian pound against the US dollar by over 55%. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Egypt is anticipated to convene on Thursday for the last time in 2022 to review the key interest rates amid ongoing global economic updates and in light of the new IMF deal measures.
Welcome back. Well, Egypt Air has announced that it have started from the 18th of December to increase its weekly flights from Cairo to Moscow from 11 to 14 flights. Egypt Air also announced that it is a country coordinating with travel agents in order to increase direct flights between Moscow and the Red Sea resort cities of Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada to 28 flights per week starting from 2023 up from 10 flights currently. The details in the following report.
Egypt Air has announced that starting 18th of December, it will increase its weekly flights from Cairo to Moscow from 18 to 14 flights. The Egyptian national flight also announced that it is currently coordinating with travel agents to increase direct flights between Moscow and the Red Sea resort cities of Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada to 28 flights per week starting 2023, up from 10 flights currently. Egypt Air said that the move aims to support Russian tourism to Egypt's Red Sea resorts. The decision comes on the heels of Jordan's announcement last week that it is closing its airspace to Russian airlines due to sanctions. Thousands of Russian tourists heading to Egypt were stranded in Russian airports after Jordan's decision. Russia's Federal Agency for Air Transport recommended that the carrier provides its passengers with seats on board the aircraft of other airlines to compensate them for the delay. Earlier, Minister of Tourism and Antiquities Ahmed Isa said that the number of Russian tourists to Egypt has doubled from June to October compared to earlier in the year. Egypt is among the top 5 destinations for Russian tourists in the summer season, according to a report issued by the Association of Tour Operations of Russia in September.
Welcome back. Well, to shed more light on Egypt Air announcing the starting from the 18th of December to increase its weekly flights from 11 to 14 flights. We have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Amr Atif, a travel expert and PhD in Heritage and Museum Studies. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Well, Dr. Atif, how would the increase of the weekly flights from Cairo to Moscow from 11 flights to 14 flights promote tourism during the coming period?
First, I want to shed a light on the importance of the Russian tourism to Egypt. And,
yes, of course.
And of course, I mean, the Russian tourism in Egypt actually was one of the main sources of the Egyptian resorts for years and decades. Egypt and Russia had lots of relations that dates back to actually to 1784, and the diplomatic relations between Egypt and the Soviet Union started in the 26th of August 1943, and Egypt has an embassy in Moscow, and also Russia has an embassy in Cairo and a consulate in Alexandria. So that's about the deep of this relation between Egypt and Russia. The importance of the increasing of the flights to Egypt, as a matter of fact, this will reflect on everything. I mean, tourism is considered to be one of the main sources of the economy for Egypt, and the charter flights that comes to Egypt, as a matter of fact, guarantee jobs, if you know, of course, in Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada and Marsa Alam, and so lots of people, their bread and butter would be tourism, and when they increase the number of tourists and number of flights, this for sure will be a win-win situation between Egypt and Russia.
Yes. Dr. Atif, Egypt aims to increase the direct flights between Moscow, coming from Moscow to the Red Sea cities.
Resorts, yeah.
Yeah, resorts of Sharm el-Sheikh and of Hurghada to 28 flights per week, starting from 2023. So what is the importance of this also?
Decision. Well, this is, as I told you, this is very important because it's almost doubling, more than doubling the size of, the number of the flights that are coming to Egypt. And this will be good for the economy. It will be good for tourism. You know, tourism is the main source of the Egyptian economy, and it provides, more than 12 million job opportunities, directly and indirectly, and there are lots of industries that comes along with tourism. So imagine that, it's not only about the travelers coming here, but there are lots of side industries that are benefiting from tourism. So this will encourage lots of industries, lots of businesses, lots of work, and there will be lots of job opportunities, which is good for the Egyptian economy, especially with what's going on in the world. I mean,
Yes.
not only in Egypt, but all over the world with all what's happening. This also reflects the good relations between Egypt and Russia, because
Yes.
Egypt was chosen as one of the countries that Russia would conduct tourism to. And this is on the, economical and political situation is very good and positive. That means that Egypt is safe, Egypt is secure, and Egypt is in a situation that helps to, or is an inviting environment for tourism. So that's very good and positive, not only for the Russian tourism, but also for tourism in general in Egypt.
Yes. Dr. Atif, to what extent would this decision and this step increase the number of tourists during the Christmas holidays?
You know that Christmas is coming, and people in Christmas, they travel, and the good thing is people would think that it's a long flight to Moscow. It's only 4 hours flight. So there will be a good access to the Egyptian resorts in Christmas and the New Year holidays. And people the Russian flights that will come and shower, Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh and the Red Sea resorts, that will, of course, increase tourism. I mean, you said that the number of flights, as you kindly mentioned, it will be like 28 flights per week. So imagine if you multiply that by month and then multiply that by the season. So this will be, lots of booming traveling from the Russian side. And by the way, Egypt has always been an important resort for the Russian travelers all through the history. All the time it was always an important resort. I'm talking about Egypt. So I think that's a good situation, and that will encourage tourism for sure.
Yes. So, Dr. Atif, also concerning the preparations by the Ministry of Tourism in the Christmas vacations for the domestic tourism in Egypt and attracting the Egyptians to visit Hurghada, Sharm el-Sheikh, and other cities and touristic places in Egypt during the New Year and the Christmas holidays.
Of course, Egypt pays a lot of attention to the domestic tourism. Egypt in general, the government in Egypt and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and everybody in charge in Egypt actually cares a lot about tourism. And tourism, as you know, is the main source, or one of the main sources of the Egyptian economy. So domestic traveling is also important, because when we encourage domestic traveling to Egypt, that will be a good part of sustainability. In case of pandemics, in case of any problems, if you encourage this, we are 120 million Egyptians here, 110 million Egyptians in Egypt. If we say, according to the statistics, there are 6-7 million Egyptians who travel abroad, for instance. So if we focus on this number to travel domestically, that will be good for the economy. And this is not something that only Egypt does. If you look at the US of A, they encourage traveling among America. It's only 20% of the American population that has a passport, for instance. So the rest travel domestically. They go from California to Boston, from Boston to Miami, and so on and so forth. So domestic traveling in general is good for the economy. And I think if we focus on domestic traveling, especially in Christmas and the New Year and all the holidays and vacations, that would be good for the economy and will have a good impact on tourism in Egypt.
Yes, Dr. Atif, also the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities is playing a great role concerning the initiative, launching initiatives in order to boost and promote tourism in Egypt. Like, for example, the initiative of providing facilitations for the fans who are visiting Qatar to attend the World Cup. Egypt is providing them facilitations for people, the fans who are holding the cards of Haya.
Absolutely.
Yes, so could you give us an idea about this, please?
Of course. I mean, first of all, we want to. We're happy for Argentina
Yes.
for winning the World Cup, and you know, in Egypt, soccer is very important sport here. And I mean, as we always say in Egypt, you love your mother and you play soccer. So football or soccer is very important sport in Egypt, and the Egyptians follow the World Cup. I have been following the World Cup. And Egypt did a good cooperation
Yes.
with Qatar for allowing the fans, the football fans who participated in the, for the teams who participated in the World Cup to come to Egypt, you know, with lots of facilitation and lots of visa facilitation, lots of entry facilitation. So that will be helping in increasing the number of tourists that would come to Egypt for the coming, few months at least, because
Yes.
there are lots of fans, lots of football fans. I mean, soccer is one of the most important, games, and lots of people follow, of course, soccer and or football, and I think the coming couple of years, at least, will see lots of tourists coming to Egypt, and actually, as we speak, and I'm speaking to you, ma'am, and I'm on the Nile, heading from Aswan to Luxor, and you cannot imagine the number of travelers that you see in all the temples. I mean, from different nationalities. I mean, you go to Karnak, you go to Luxor, you go to the Temple of Isis, you go to all the temples in Egypt by the banks of the River Nile, and you see there are lots of groups from different parts, different countries of the world. So I think tourism will be booming, and that will be for sure good for the economy. And I think Egypt has been lucky with its location, has been lucky with the the temperature, the weather. That's nice and warm in the winter, and kind of not very hot and kind of breezy.
Yes.
And dry weather in the summer. So I think Egypt has been lucky, and Egypt is center located, so that will be for the favorite of those who travel. So and Egypt also has been taking, the Egyptian government has been taking very good steps to encourage tourism and to help and facilitate people who are coming to Egypt, and you can see that all the time. I mean, I've seen pictures on the media, on the social media, with groups showering the temples of Abu Simbel, from Abu Simbel all the way to the Giza pyramids and in Cairo. So I would say tourism is one of the main sources, and the government pays a great attention to tourism and take good care of the travelers who come and visit our country.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Atif, also Egypt and the Ministry of Tourism have taken a benefit from the COP27, as the city of Sharm el-Sheikh turned to a green city during the COP and was able to host and secure such a big and an important conference, the climate change conference. The importance of this conference and this gathering of world leaders and officials from all around the world to attend this big event and conference, and the people and the tourists that were keen to visit Sharm el-Sheikh even after the conference ended, and are now seeing Sharm el-Sheikh with a new vision and a new picture of Sharm el-Sheikh.
Well, the COP27, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi called for the conference of the COP27, the president of Egypt, and actually this is a great advertisement for the country wide and straight. Egypt, ma'am, was one of the very first countries that reacted to global changing and to climate changing. And Egypt, from the time of the pharaohs in the past, had reacted to the climate changing when there was a drought that came here. There was a drought, and this drought, when it didn't rain, and they moved to Fayoum, and they start to build the first dams and reserve the water. So, and also the Nilometers that would cover, that would measure the level of the water in the Nile. We have one in El Roda, we have one in El Maniel. So Egypt has been reacting to climate changing since, considered to be one of the very first countries. We're talking 2600 BC, we're talking 4th dynasty, when this took place in the lands of Egypt. So it's not strange that Egypt calls for the COP27, for the conference in Sharm el-Sheikh. And again, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, it was a great move to call for the conference, because leaders from all over the world, we have seen that leaders from all over the world came and attended this conference, and that's a great advertisement, and that puts Egypt in the map of the green countries all over the world. Now, green tourism is very active. People now, when they travel, they care about green tourism. They care about traveling eco-friendly.
Yes.
In all over the world, and they ask. You go on the cruises, and lots of cruises in the River Nile. Actually, they don't use plastic bottles for water. They use. They don't actually use plastic at all, and all those steps that you, of course, know.
Yes.
Now, with Sharm el-Sheikh in particular, it has been advertised as a green city. So
yes.
That's a great advertisement, because now people, when they travel, they always ask about environment, and Sharm el-Sheikh has more than 500 hotels or 400
yes, of course.
hotels, and those hotels are now green hotels.
Yes.
They have a certificate as a green hotel. As green hotels,
yes,
and
that's
true. The staff in those hotels are well trained,
yes.
and so I think this is going to be great for tourism again, and for green tourism in particular, in
yes.
Sharm el-Sheikh and in different cities of Egypt.
Thank you very much for your valuable information. Dr. Amr Atif, a travel expert and PhD in Heritage and Museum Studies. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Well, Cairo University ranked first locally as the most environmentally friendly university and the second in Africa in the University of Indonesia's Green Matrix World University Rankings. The ranking measures how universities deal with the issues of sustainability through policies, action and communications. The details on the following report.
University ranked first locally and the most environmentally friendly university, and the second in Africa. In 2021, Cairo University was listed among the world's top 100 in 5 scientific majors. The Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research stated previously that Egyptian universities and research centers have made remarkable advancements in international rankings in 2022. The ministry added that 36 Egyptian universities were listed on the 2022 Times Higher Education Impact Rankings, up from 31 in 2021. The list ranks 1,406 universities from 106 countries for their commitment to the UN SDGs.
Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, Cairo Local Time. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.